Morning. Our Friday morning. I look a bit tired today. It's because I am a bit tired today. I've been working long days this week and it takes it out of me completely. And I could have done with another week's worth of sleep this morning, I think. But Russell, bless him, has got to go off to work. So we are up. I nearly lost my rabbit already this morning. Oh, before I get crafting. Good morning to everybody popping on. Good morning, Jill. Went out to feed my rabbits and I often open the hutch door and just let him out a little bit on the patio while I feed him. Anyway, he made a massive break for freedom. Decided to hop all the way across the patio, just down the steps, across the second patio, down towards the gate. And I'm just sitting there going, I've literally just woken up. I have to drop everything and try and catch him without running after him, because if you run after him, he then gets scared and runs even further. So that's been my morning. How are you all doing? I hope you're all keeping well. I am going back to bed after this. I've decided I'm going to go back in the house, finish watching I'm a Celebrity from last night, and go to bed. I'm exhausted. Absolutely exhausted. I've got a headache. But I'm here with you ladies, and I put a poll out last night to see whether we wanted to do Christmas or new products. We're going new products. It was even Stevens, so I made the decision, and I made something yesterday which I really quite like. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday? So I thought I'd good morning Jay, how are you doing? So I thought I'd pop on and show you. So let me try and find the video. I've also got something else to show you. Oh, can't show you inside. I would if I could, but I'm not allowed. It makes me happy. So I'll be ordering lots of those in December, and so when I can get them out to you I will do. But yeah, I've been having a bit of a flick through there this morning. So welcome one and all. I'm the Songbird Stamper, live with you on a Friday morning, and we're going to have a little bit of a play. Good morning Claire, good morning Anne-Marie, good morning to everybody who's joining us. Thank you for popping on and seeing me this morning. So let me spin you around and we'll have a bit of a play. Hope you can see that. I better get up really. I'm being lazy. I'm trying to do it all from sat down. So that is the brand new catalogue. It's not launched yet. I'm being a bit early. As a demonstrator, we can order early from the catalogue. And I've done a lot of Christmas recently, and I fancy doing something a little bit different. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, Katie. Good morning, Anita. Good morning. I felt like doing something a little bit different, so I've had a bit of a play. I've just turned the lights off there for you because I was getting quite a lot of shadow. So I thought we'd pull this out. What a gorgeous set of products. And I've teamed it with a couple of things from the annual catalogue. Birthdays still happen. Birthdays happen any time of the year. So I wanted to make a couple of birthday cards, I think. That's what we're going to do today. Let me try and bring this video up properly, and then I can see all your comments. Oh, you're cold this morning. You're a bit far away from the thing. It is cold. It's turned last couple of days, hasn't it? It's really turned. Now, do you want to see what we're going to make before we're going to make it? That's the question. Some do, some don't, but I'm going to show you. So I made this. I'm only going to show you one actually. We're going to make it in a different colourway. We might even make it in both colourways. But it's just using the new Sweeter products, and it's called the Fine Art Floral. Is there any Valentine's bits in the mini catalogue? There are, Claire. Yes. And I'm going to be doing a class in January. January's class is going to be, oh, I don't even want to call it Valentine's Day. It's kind of, thank you, Jay. It's kind of based around the theme of love, let's say. And then February will be mini catalogues. So I've just been doing January through to June's classes. So, oh, you like? Well, I'm going to show you how to make it. Because I tell you what, this stamp set is gorgeous, but it took me a little while to get my head in. Yes, Claire, as a demonstrator, you can view the catalogue. We need to have a chat. Need to have a chat and get you seeing that. I did send the link, but maybe you didn't see it. So, what I have got, I'll show you the products first. Now, I'm going to be using this as well. I love how the mini catalogues tie in with the annual catalogue products. So we're going to be using some of this. And I tell you what, out of all of our laser cut specialty designer series paper, this is the one I have used the most. I mean, I've used all of these sheets of it. It's fabulous stuff. So we're going to be using that. I'll put that to one side. And then we're going to be using some designer series paper and some acetate. Look, it's all a mess. I could have had a tidy up for you, but I haven't. This is some more of the paper, the laser cut paper. So delicate, it's so pretty. Wish you were Barry. Barry's still in the land of Nod. I didn't read that comment first. I was like, okay, you could be Barry if you want. Do you know what, Jay? Honestly, I wish I was. I'm going back there after I've done this with you. I'm going to finish watching Uncertainty and I'm going back to bed. I've decided. I've 48 hours this week, and that's what most people do in a week. I was like, yeah, well, I don't know how most people do it. I don't normally work that much in a week. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a long week. So this is the paper, and it's gorgeous. Look, it looks like it's been printed on canvas, and I think it has. I think it's actually been printed on canvas, and that's the reverse. I mean, how gorgeous is that colour? Not quite right for what we're doing today, but this is amazing. I've made a framed sampler, a 12 by 12 sampler. I'm not going to share it with you yet. It's for my niece for Christmas. This is what we're going to be using today. Can you see? I've gone to town on this paper already. And this is gorgeous. And this is the one we're going to be using today as well. So yeah, got loads left. You always get 12 sheets in a pack, so you get loads. But I've had a good old play already. So that paper is what we're going to use. And then this acetate. Oh, I need more of this already as well, look. I've had a lot of fun playing with this, you might be able to tell. And then there's one sheet I haven't touched yet. Oh, bless you. 138 people in the end last night you called. Claire works for a call centre, the Office for National Statistics. Look, I'll get this out of the way, you might be able to see it better. Stunning, huh? Absolutely stunning. Oh, and the reverse is silver. So it will work with whatever you want to do. If you want to do gold, and I'm going to show you how to stick this acetate down without seeing the glue. I've got a real neat trick for you. So, yeah, Office for National Statistics. I got there in the end, Claire. It just took me a minute. I think everything's going to take me a minute today. So, what have we got? We have got a piece of thick Whisper White card, 14.5 by 21. Let me just put my tablet away because I'm being clumsy this morning. I'm going to drop that. 14.5 by 21, scored in half at 10.5 centimetres. And I'm going to use my bone folder for that. Oh, Mary, I'm on the TV again. I'm famous. They are stunning, aren't they? It's so much better on the big screen because you can see it. Good morning, Lisa. Lovely to have you join us. Good morning and welcome. I'm going to do some work today as I need to clear the decks of some tasks before I'm on my holidays. But I started this morning watching my crochet show on Create and Craft, and now I'm joining you. Hope I'm not too distracting. You don't want to be on the computer all day. Yes, it's your day off, Katie. So what colours should we work with? I've got two colours. We've got now on the back of all of the papers, it says what colours they are. It says what colours you have. Now, I didn't agree with it. I know, shock horror, right? So I went off piste a little bit. So on the back of all of the packs of paper, if you've not seen this, this is quite useful. It tells you what colours you've got. Bumblebee, Flirty Flamingo, Merry Merlot, Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, Old Olive. There's a lot of colours in here. Old Olive, Petal Pink, Pool Party, Poppy Parade, Pumpkin Pie, so Saffron, Terracotta Tile and Whisper White. So, those are the colours in the paper. However, I got all of those colours out and I just could not find a colour that would work with this design series paper. It's probably Flirty Flamingo. I just wasn't feeling it last night. So I've got two colours, Pool Party and Blushing Bride. Tofts. Blue, 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 blue. Oh, blue. Blue. We want blue. Okay, we'll make a blue one. We might make a pink one later. It took me a while to figure out what you're on about there. Okay, so we've got Pool Party, and I've got my Pool Party ink. Now I'm going to grab the stamp set. I'm going to show you the stamp set if I can find it. I was losing everything last night as well. It's this one here. I love, love, love this, and I also love that it's just got all the sentiments. So if you were new to stamping, this is a stamp set for you, because you've got your images and all of your sentiments, like for nearly every occasion. Happy birthday, congratulations, good luck, sorry, thank you, best wishes, you're lovely, and I'm thinking of you. Gorgeous, isn't it? And it's a lovely font. It's just a standard font. You could mix it up and put other sentiments with it on the cards if you wanted to, which I kind of have done a little bit. But I'm going to take this stamp. So it's a 2-step stamp set, and it's also at 80%, 85%. Images at 85%. So this is smaller. 85% of this. So you have to make it a bit bigger again. Oh, you're a bit off camera there. I'm push you that way a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to grab this stamp here, and we're going to stamp onto our pool party cardstock to make a little bit of a background. This is what is called tone on tone stamping. So I've got pool party ink on pool party card. And I'm just going to pop one over here. You could stamp off if you wanted a lighter effect. Gosh, you're on the off the camera, on the camera. I can't get it right today. And then I'm going to stamp one down here, and just give it a minute once you stamp to let the ink soak into the paper. And then I'm going to pop one up there as well. Just adds a little bit of interest to your background paper. I love making my own background papers, and tone on tone I think is definitely what works best for that. And then that will go straight onto our Whisper White card base. But you know me, I don't do that straight away. I always leave my Whisper White card base till last and build up on here, and then stick the whole thing on one go. So I've got a little bit of this blue paper. I've cut this already. I've been a bit prepared today to 7 by 10. So that's kind of a pool party. Maybe a little bit of Coastal Cabana in there as well. And then we've got this designer series acetate. And I want to stick that on there, but I don't want to be able to see through. Now you could look at the card that you're going to make, but I didn't know when I made this what I was going to stick over. And you could just put glue, you could put tape runner, you could put Tombow glue, you could use tear and tape, and you could pop it all on here and then put this on, because actually you're going to cover most of it up. But I'm going to show you anyway how to stick this acetate on without seeing the glue. Yeah, I just think it makes it, if you do make any mistakes, it means you're not wasting your base card. That's why I do it generally. So I'm going to take my Tombow, and this is the gold. I want the gold to show, so I've flipped it over. Good morning, Diane. And I'm just running glue, and you do have to be fairly light-handed with it. But I'm just basically popping glue on the reverse of the pattern. I know you've got your time off coming up soon, haven't you, Katie? That would be nice. I've taken a lot of time off in December as well. We don't know what's going on with the house move yet, so I don't think it'll be before Christmas. We heard today that it possibly might be, yesterday rather, but by the time the searches are done, I don't think it will be. So I'm just putting and you do just be very light-handed with your Tombow glue, but if you are and can be, I know some people aren't great with their hands, in which case the fine tipped glue might be better for you, but it is possible to be fine tipped with the Tombow. Just squeeze it ever so gently, and I'm putting quite a lot on actually. I didn't put anywhere near this amount on last time. But you can just put on a few drops. It's so super strong and sticky. Right, that's enough. So I'm going to spin that over, Oh, Claire, that's a lovely amount of time off as well. Well, you'll be able to have a good play with your craft stuff then, won't you? And then I'm going to stick that down. And I'm not going to squidge it around, because what I don't want to do is squidge it and all the glue come out from underneath. So I'm going to pop that. Yes, good technique, because now you could use that as is. And the reason I did this was because when I was making my niece's frame for her birthday, I had sections that were just card overlaid with acetate, and I really didn't want to be able to see the glue underneath. So that's that one there, and we're just going to leave that to dry for a second. So what have we got next? I've got some Whisper White cards, just the standard Whisper White cards, and what we're going to do is stamp using the main stamp again, and I'm going to do that in Pool Party. So this is a two-step stamp, like I say. So this is the overlay, the base colour. So you do, and you can see most of the colour there. And then there's another stamp, which is this one, which adds the detail for the shading. And the two colours I've chosen to work with are Pool Party and Coastal Cabana. So I can pop that to the side. I should clean those really. One there, and we've got some Coastal Cabana. The other thing that you can do is you can do a stamped off Pool Party and then a straight stamped Pool Party, and that would give you the definition as well. But I've gone to go for a bit darker, and then you're just lining it up. It's the kind of stamp that doesn't need to be exact, but I'm just leaving that in position, so I wonder if you can see through there. So you're just lining it up so you get some shading onto that one, and it will dry a little bit lighter than that anyway. So let's clean that off. And then the stem comes separately, and I've gone for Pear Pizzazz. Pear Pizzazz is a green that I think it's in the Subtles family anyway, along with these other two colours. I think it works. It's the best green that works with the Subtle family. And this gorgeous stem. I need to get this phone sorted. I did buy a fairly cheap phone, but that is terrible. Come on, play nicely. Stop zooming in and out. Right, so I'm going to stamp that in the Pear Pizzazz. And I'm going to do all my stamping in one go. So I'm also, while I've got the Pear Pizzazz out, going to stamp another image from the set. And it's this one here. I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to stamp that straight down in Pear Pizzazz. And I'm also going to grab out my Blushing Bride, I think. Yeah, let's go for Blushing Bride. Otherwise I've got to get more ink colours out, and I really don't want to do that. So this is what I mean by the two-step stamping. I'm going to show you in a minute. So this is, you will see this all come together in a bit. So I'm going to stamp off in the Blushing Bride and then stamp on in the Blushing Bride, and that's going to give me a darker, a lighter effect than normal. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to go back in. I hope this works. I did it with different colours yesterday, and if it doesn't, I'll just change the colours out. And I'm going to take my Stampin' Right marker, because what we're going to do is add some definition to this. I'm not colouring the whole thing. You can't really see because it's such a light colour. I'm just adding some flicks of that Blushing Bride and then lining this up and then stamping that down. Now that hasn't worked, so let me show you with Petal Pink and Calypso Coral. That's what I was doing the other day. Because this is how you get the shading onto the flowers. This is a two-step stamp, but the others don't have the two-step stamps that go with them, so we can make our own up. So this is Petal Pink. It's actually a beautiful colour. Okay. And then I've taken Calypso Coral, which is a much darker, but quite close to it. Let me draw on. Can you see how it's not too dissimilar in tone? And what I'm going to do is then just draw some flicks. You might be able to see this better as well, actually. And again, it's the kind of stamp set that doesn't lend itself. You don't need to be too neat. I literally am just putting some flicks of colour onto there. And then I'm going to line that up over the top of that one and stamp that down. And can you see how that's come out much better with that kind of two-step effect just by using the marker there. Ah, Pebs was brought back as a main colour. It was originally an in colour. I did not know that, Katie. No, I did not know that at all. Yeah, it's a fabulous green. It's underused in my opinion. So what I need to do is I'm going to disregard this one completely, and we're going to die cut these four out. The dies for this are somewhere under here. So you get this main one here which cuts out the main flower, and then you get this one here that cuts out the flower that's all in one, so we need to use that twice. You've got the stem, and then you've got this just want to say, and then all your little sentiments will fit in here. Gosh, what is my phone doing? I'm so sorry. That's got to be this weekend's job to figure out why I'm going in and out of focus all the time. I say my job, might be Russ's job to be honest. So take this over here. I'm just going to trim this down so that it fits through my die cutting machine, the cut and emboss machine. We'll go silent because I'm concentrating lining up the dies. Don't really want any of them to slip. So because most of those are different ones, I've run all three through the big shot at the same time. For the cutting and embossing machine. I will get that right one day. So you can see here that I've cut all of those out in one go. And then I just need to go back in and recut this pear pizzazz one. Like that. So, this is something that I learnt at Onstage. The CEO, Sarah Douglas, and her mum, the co-founder of the company, Shelley, were playing with this sweet. And so they showed us a really neat, trick. So my flowers I want to be, this one's separate, that's completed. My flowers I want to be Petal Pink and the Calypso Coral, and my leaves I want to be the Pear Pizzazz here. So I'm going to take my snips and I'm going to cut away the flowers. So I'm just snipping round the stems, and I can leave these flowers attached. December is the year of the month of die cutting and embossing folders. I must admit, I ought to use my embossing folders more. And then we just need to cut away this big flower as well. They give such different effects. You've already started playing with some die cuts I saw Claire recently, which is good. I'm just trimming, now I've trimmed the flower away from the stem, I also need to trim the stem back away from the flower. I hope you can see that. And then we'll just take some glue and overlay those on top of each other. So they're super easy to line up because you're just following the shape and putting one shape on top of the other, and because this is all connected, it's even easier. How cool was that? That's why I love watching other demonstrators, because you learn, but also learn so much on stage. So there's our flower. So we've got one flower in Pool Party Coastal Cabana and one in Petal Pink and Calypso Coral. So underused. Made you want to use more. Well, that's good. So this one now is dry. So that's completely welded and you can't see any glue underneath there. So I've managed to stick that down. So that's a really neat tip for you. And I've got a sheet of Whisper White card, just a little piece of Whisper White card to cut to 7.5 by 10.5. So this was 7 by 10, this is 7.5 by 10.5. And that can just go down with Tombow. I'm looking forward to a weekend of doing nothing this weekend. I think Russ is racing. Watching the racing. Russ is racing. I don't think he's going anywhere either. He's going to be watching the Formula 1, I think, if it's on. Somebody might tell me different. I think he's doing that. So that's Whisper White just behind there. Normally I would border my design series paper with a colour. But because it's going straight onto a colour, you couldn't really see it, but it stands out much better, just like that. The other thing I'm going to be using is some of this gorgeous, gorgeous ribbon with the gold flecks running through it. Love this. It's like a tan colour underneath. That's the base colour. I don't know if you can see. So I'm going to be using some of that, and I've got a little piece of gold foil. So I'm going to cut my gold foil for 1.5 centimetres using my trusty paper trimmer. By 10 centimetres. 1.5 by 10. Good morning, Patricia. Thank you for popping on and saying hello. And then what I'm going to do is grab some red tape. I'm just going to pop the grid paper up here so you can see what I'm doing, but I'm not doing it on the grid paper. You can see my messy desk underneath. Desperately need a new desk. What I need is a new desk that is indestructible and wipe clean. Anyone know of such a thing? And I'm going to pop some red tape all along there and coming off the edges as well. That's the reason that we do this on a hard surface rather than on the grid paper, because then you can peel that off. If you did that on your grid paper, you would not be able to peel that off. Trust me. And ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. Good morning, Heidi. Nice to see you, my lovely. How you doing? Peel the backing tape off there, and again be careful that you don't stick this down to your grid paper. Pop the ribbon across it. You might not be able to see this, but I'll bring it back in shot in a second. Trim that to fit, and then just curl the ends round. We're going to leave that for a second. So pop that to one side. The other thing we're going to do is take our sheet of, again, I love how the products work together. So basically for this card, I just wanted anything gold that I had. Could have done some gold heat embossing as well. Now coming up in the new catalogue is a very, very exciting, I would say new product, but it's not 100% new. I think Stampin' Up! I've maybe done this before. Gilding flakes, I'm just going to say it. There's some gilding flakes coming up. So I've had a play with may have some from another company from before I was with Stampin' Up! But yeah, they should be coming out soon, so that'll be exciting. And I've got a class coming up in next year with gilding flakes, so that'll be fun to do. Oh, you love the flowers, thank you. I've just had a message to say that I hopped this morning with the Casually Crafting design team and that everything's gone smoothly, so that's good because I really haven't got around to checking that this morning. So I've got some of my gold foil, and I love these because this is how easily they pop out and you can just use them on your cards as little elements. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to start to pop it all together, I think. I think we've got everything. Oh, I'm going to tie a bow using this gorgeous gold. I've just had to order some more of those. Ah, heat and stick powder was in the catalogue before. So this is gorgeous gold thread. And I've used 10 yards of it. It's not often. We must have used this in a class. I must have sent a load out. You do like your gilding flake. They are so messy, aren't they? But they're so cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the new year. Exciting string of classes lined up. If you don't know and you'd like to join in my online classes, please do get in touch, or all the details will be going over on my website. I'm going to try and amend my website to be a little bit better, a little bit neater with the classes, and that's www.thesongbirdStamper.co.uk. So I've got a few on there at the moment, but I'm going to try and streamline it all. Oh, you're not too good. Did I miss a comment, Heidi? You're not feeling too well? Bless you. I hope you feel better soon as well. So I'm just going to tie, I've got a nice little bow. It ties a beautiful bow. And I'm just going to leave the end. The edge is fray. I actually quite like that. Quite like that frayed effect. So I'm going to pop that to one side as well. And we can trim the edges when we get there. So let's start on the assembly, I think. So this one I want to be raised up. This isn't particularly a card that would mail all that well, because it's going to have a little bit of dimension on it. But for a special friend, you just don't mind. Oh, just a cold. That's not too bad though, although colds are still rubbish. Oh, you saw the wonderful class list for next year. Bless you. I thought the more I do now, the less I've got to do over Christmas. Let's put one there. I'm never sure how many of these to put on, but I would rather have too many dimensionals, especially on a big panel, than too few. So let's pop a load of dimensionals on the back there. Oh, just a cold. You're okay. Good. That's good to hear. Katie, the sprouts is a long story. I will tell you one day when I see you. Or we'll have a chat later. Right, so let's peel all those off. And stick this on. This is probably the hardest bit of this whole card, is lining this up so that you get it straight down. Well, that's the hardest bit for me anyway. I always kind of have to put it on gently and then have a look at it and see what I think. But the problem is with these dimensionals, once it's on, it's kind of on. You don't get much time, you don't get much wiggle room. So I think that's good. Go for it. You forgot to send me money, did you? Bless you. I'd forgotten to. So let's start sticking some things down, I think. So first of all, we start with this ribbon. Now, obviously, because I've got it stuck down in the middle, but this is on dimensionals, what we need to do is pop dimensionals one on either side of this here. So we're going to put a dimensional on either side of here, and then we're going to use some glue in the middle. So peel the backings off. Don't make the mistake that I made the other day of not doing that bit. Peel the backings off and then pop some glue in the middle there, and that will help to stick that to the acetate. Okay, so talking of mince pie flavoured things, I saw somebody this morning who had for breakfast porridge with 3 mince pies and some brandy butter or brandy cream. Now, I don't like cream, but I tell you what, I do like mince pies. And if I thought I could get away with having mince pies for breakfast this early in the year, I probably would. Well, I just had a banana. Oh yes, Jay, no problem at all. So the acetate was stuck down. I literally just turned it over and put dobs, really, really fine dobs of Tombow glue on the bits that are big enough. So, I mean, you can be quite fine with this. If you guys have got fine hands, delicate hands, but all on the back of these leaves, just pop a blob of Tombow glue, small drop, and then flip that over and stick that straight down, and you won't have any glue showing through. So that's my top tip for you. So that's stuck down onto there. I'm going to take my stem and kind of just think about where you want things placed. Mince pie baked oats. Oh, that sounds quite nice. So just thinking about where you want them before you stick them down, so that you don't just go blindly in. You're more than welcome, Jay. Okay, oh, I don't know if you can hear that. Talking of foods, my belly is rumbling. I know, it's, people kept sending me, Anita, pictures of white chocolate. You know who you are if you're watching this. White chocolate orange baked goods. Oh my giddy aunt. So I ended up going out and buying myself a white chocolate orange. It was lovely as well. So just a little bit of Tombow. Because you're going on to acetate, you will need to just hold that down a little bit longer. The Tombow glue card onto card sticks really fast. Talk of the devil, and she appears. Sandra is the lady that kept sending me pictures. White chocolate orange baked cheesecakes and things like that. So I'm going to put the flower head on like that. We did the same with my dad, Casey, as well. My dad hates sprouts. I normally buy him something sprout themed. So on goes the flower head there. Now I've got 2 of these gold elements to pop on, and again I'm just taking my time. I'm just layering this up, thinking about, see that gold one underneath, you're not going to be able to see that. So where's my take the big tool? That needs to come out much more like that, but this one is good where it is. So burn that into my memory and then spin it over, pop a few blobs of Tombow glue. I kind of want to make a box for these as well, but I don't really give my boxes of cards away. I send the cards myself. So I wonder if we can make a gift bag. I'll try and get my thinking cap on. I was going to make the other card, but I wonder if we could make a gift bag to match this. I reckon we probably could if I can get my thinking cap on. Right, so I'm going to stick this one down, but again I just want to have a think about where I place this leaf. So I think it just wants to go right there. Just right there. Sandy, what have you missed? Wow, you've missed crafting and chatting. No, nothing really. We started off by making this card using Pool Party. This is the Fine Art Floral suite of products, and it's gorgeous, isn't it? I'm trying to think. I can't think and talk at the same time. There we go, just like that. That's about it really, Sandy. I was just talking about you sending me pictures of baked white chocolate cheesecake, white chocolate orange cheesecake and things. Well, I did end up having to say, now you've got 2 options. You could lift this up on dimensionals again if you wanted to. I might do that is a special card. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Katie. I just need to think of the style of bag quickly. Making a 3D item on the hoof. I'm going to use some small dimensionals there as well. Now, I'm not going to put a greeting on this card, I've decided, because this is the kind of card that would lend itself really well to making ahead of time and then leaving without a sentiment on and then just popping a sentiment on when you're ready to send it. Oh yes, we're stamping. I mean, the acetate is gorgeous. Absolutely brilliant. And we did some die cutting and some stamping. You've missed the party, basically. Don't know where you've been. Gallivanting. Off gallivanting. So I'm just going to stick this on here, so kind of in the middle, so that I can still see these leaves on either side. And then I'm going to stick that down, so with some Tombow glue around the edge. Tell you what I'd love to make with this sweet is one of my exploding candle boxes. So that's there because I think the papers would just work beautifully. Now I've pulled out these champagne rhinestones basic jewels. Again, love how the products coordinate with the annual catalogue products. So the stamps and dies are from the mini, as is this ribbon, but everything else is kind of from the annual catalogue. The gold, oh yes, don't let me forget to put the gold twine on. So I'm going to put the gold twine on there. I'm just going to use a glue dot to do that with. If I can find, there we are. So just a glue dot, and all I do to stick these down. So don't forget, when you work with glue dots, this pulls away, so there will never be any glue dots on the bit that you're pulling. All the glue dots will stay on this backing sheet, so that you just peel that back, pop that on there, it sticks super duper well, peel it off, and then you can place that where you want it, and then we can trim our ends to the length that we desire. I do want those a little bit smaller. You can leave them long if you want, no right or wrong way. And then I use my Take Your Pick tool just to grab some of these. Oh, they're stunning colours, aren't they? Pool Party and Petal Pink, lovely. And then I'm just going to pop on some rhinestones around the outside here. Parcels getting delivered, but they want to have a natter too. Bless them. Bless them. Yeah, delivery drivers are really nice and friendly most of the time, aren't they? Claire's tempting with yet more stamps now. Oh no, Katie, stop getting distracted. Stop procrastinating, as they say. So that's basically our card. So what I've done on this one here, you can see I made this one, is I've used a different leaf for starters. So that die cut paper's got loads of things in. I just stamped and die cut out a greeting down and popped it there. And then the pink one that I made with the Blushing Bride, I cut the sentiment out and stuck it along there on the right hand side. So you've got plenty of options. Ah, you love. Thanks, peeps. So that's our card. I'm really nervous about this. Right, let me see what I've got in my box of tricks. Out or nout, as they say. I haven't made a gift bag for such a long time. Tell you what would be totally nice with that is a lovely notebook. A notebook would look beautiful with that. Okay, so I've decided I'm not going to go for bag, I'm going to go for box, because I know how to make boxes. And Barry and Jay made a lovely box yesterday. So I'm going to go matching. I've got the Pool Party and What size do we want? What size do we want indeed? So we want it big enough to be able to house our flower, I think. So where's my flower die gone? What size is that? So that's 3 by 3. So we go for a 4 by 4 box. So for a 4 by 4 size box, okay, this is my thinking process. You're going to see how my brain works. So let's grab a pen that you can see. So I want a box that is 4 inches by 4 inches. I don't know if you can see that pen. Let's use a Sharpie marker. I want a box that is 4 inches by 4 inches. Okay, and I want it to be 1 inch deep. So this is how I plan my boxes. So I know that I need to have a box that is 4 inches across here, then 1 inch across here, and 1 inch across here. So I need to have 4, 5, 6. So it needs to be 6 inches by 6 inches. I don't have cardstock that big, so we're going to have to make it a bit smaller than 4 by 4. Okay, so if you had an item that you wanted to make a box for, so I want to make a box for one of these soon, you need to measure its length. So we know that that's going to be 8 inches. 8 inches, and we know it's going to be 1.5. This is just rough. 1.5 this way. Okay, and we know we need it to be 1.5 inches, or 1.25 inches high. So all of these 4 flaps, this and this, have to be 1.25. If I've lost you, I'm sorry. Please don't switch off. just I'll be back to normal soon. I'm just showing you how to kind of make boxes. Need to be 1.25. So we would know we need a piece of card 8, 9, 10.5 inches long by 1.25 and 1.25. So this is this bit and this bit. So that's 2.5 plus 1.5 is 4. So you'd need a piece of cardstock 10.5 inches by 4 inches. Yeah, and that would make your base for your cardstock. We could do that actually. I could make a box for this. Well, my flower won't fit on it. Right, so I'm doing it ever so slightly differently because the cardstock I've got is the length that it is, and it's a piece of A4. Okay, so it is 11.75 inches. So 11.75 divided by 2, it's not quite 12. So it's going to be 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. I hope. We need these two to be the same. Yeah. So 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. And you need to cut that then this way to 5 7/8 as well. So the way I make my boxes is that the top and the bottom card are always the same size. So start with 2 pieces of card exactly the same size. And then what I'm going to do is score it, so make sure my trimmer is out of the way. I'm going to score it at 1 inch all the way around. So it's going to be slightly less than 4 inches on the top, but that's okay. It was only a rough estimate. We're not making it to fit anything in particular. So that's our base. Alright, so that's the bottom bit. Now the top bit needs to be, you need to do something slightly differently. You need to score it just under 1 inch. Fractionally under, I don't even know if you can see. So fractionally one, I normally do it, pull it back by about 1 millimetre from the 1 inch mark. And what that will do is allow your box lid to fit over your box base. It's just the width of the card. It's just the width of the card, which is just less than a millimetre, that you need, because the box top needs to go over the base. So line it up to 1 inch, pull it back ever so slightly by about a millimetre, and then score. Line it up to 1 inch, pull it back ever so slightly, and score. And just do that on all 4 sides. And practice will tell you how much you need to pull this back by to get a good fit. Because you don't want to put it back by too much, because then it will be too big. That you don't want to put it back not enough, because then it won't fit. And I've made so many boxes with lids that don't fit. I don't anymore, they work perfectly now that I've got it. But when I first started, so many of my box lids didn't fit. So this is the lid. Now, I don't decorate my boxes first, because I always want to just make sure they fit. So I make them first. Make sure it fits, otherwise I've wasted all my design series paper. And that is what I would recommend until you get confident enough. Because again, you don't want to spend all your paper, all your time decorating this box, only to realise that the blinking thing, for want of a better word, doesn't fit. So that's the lid, and then the base is the same. So fold and burnish all of the score lines. I didn't even talk you through what I was doing. Oh, well, I was just showing people how to make a box, Anne-Marie, but you're good at making boxes. And it is a skill that once you practice and you know how to do it, but it takes time to learn, like everything. But yeah, the pen and paper is my trusty old friend. And I just draw the box out, and even if I'm doing more complicated things, I try and draw what it would look like flat. So I'm just cutting up the score line and then notching in. And there, I just need to have a drink. My headache is rife. Oh. Right. So I'm going to use, you can use Tombow glue, or you can use snail. Not snail, what's it called now? Oh, it's changing names. Stampin' Seal Plus. I put glue all over. We had a discussion on my crafting chat group recently about glue. Should you glue all the way to the edges? I totally think you should. Because if you don't, you run the risk of the box or the edges of your card catching. So I just put a really, really thin layer of glue. You told him you were watching you and to get off the phone, but he didn't listen. Bless you. And then make sure your edges are lined straight up. And just go round, do one at a time. So you can use a tape runner, you could use red tape. But I put glue all the way on there. Line up the edges. And just push that down. So, what's the plans for the weekend? So, does anyone know what the weather is for the weekend? That's probably the first thing. So that is our box base lid. I've forgotten, but it will become clear when we try and put them together, hopefully. Yeah, anyone know what the weather's doing for the weekend? If it's nice, I might go out for a walk. That might be half the problem. I haven't had any fresh air all week. Keep gluing these closed. Now I have made my box lid the same depth as my box base.
If you didn't want to, if you wanted a box lid that came halfway down your box base, you could do that. You just change the dimensions. But this is just a really easy, it's the first box I think I've done on a live, which is unusual because this is actually my first love, making 3D projects. I probably ought to do more of them on our lives. So let's. One of these should ever so slightly be bigger than the other, and should fit on. She says, ever so slightly. There it is. So it just fits. But that's how I like my boxes. I like people to work to get them off. Actually, I've forgotten the key step to this, which is to put in some notch holes. So that's my lid, because it goes on, and that's my base. So in the lid, what we should have done is punched a hole. So I'm going to have to try and do it now. Here, punch. Because if you can't hold the base, they can be a little bit tricky to get off. So all I'm going to do is pop this in here, and I'm just notching. Ideally I would want a bigger notch than this. I don't really have a choice, and this is my common fault when I make boxes, is I forget to do this stage. So just popping in a little notch hole, so that when you pop the lid on, you can grab hold of the base still. Does that make sense? Because otherwise you won't be able to pull the lid because there's nothing to hold on to. So that'll be our box. What we're going to do is we are going to decorate it to match our card. So we could have done some stamping on that as well. I wonder if it's too late to do some stamping. Depends if I can find. I'll tell you what, if I put an acrylic block in there. On something. Okay, let's have a think. Then we might be able to do some stamping. May or may not work. Let's give it a go. So I'm going to take my, only because I want it to match my card. So you can see, because I don't normally make 3D projects on live, I was not entirely confident about whether that lid would fit or not. So otherwise, so I could have decorated it beforehand. Take my pool party ink and my stamp, and I'm just going to stamp, kind of just matching my card. I have to try and line that up. For some reason that one is not working as well. Okay, so that's my stamping. I can now take those things back out of my box. That's what I was like when I did your video the other day. Get to the end of it, it didn't fit together. It's terrible, isn't it? You just never know. You never know. So that's some stamping just on the lid. I'm okay with it not being on the sides, actually. I quite like that. And the way you could achieve that if you were doing it when it was flat was to tuck the ends in or put a post-it note over the top. But I quite like that, because what I'm going to do is probably put some ribbon round the outside here, because that'll make it look rather special, I think. So I'm going to take a little piece of the design series paper. So it's this one. I'm going to take some wistful white card as well and cut that down. So what size have we got on the top here? We've got 10 centimetres by 10 centimetres, so I'm going to do 6 by 6 maybe. No, let's do 6.5 by 6.5 in the Whisper White. That's our biggest mat. Six and a half. Just trim that off. I've got some ink on there, so I'll use that as a bit of scrap. 6.5 by 6.5. We'll see how that looks on there. I wonder actually if we could get away with 7 by 7. Do a bit more. What is that? That's 7 and 6. Needs to be big enough to take when we our stamped image. So let's trim that down. Let's just go somewhere in the middle. 7.2 by 7.2. I am making it completely up. But what I'll try and do is write a blog post about this, I think. And so all the dimensions will be on there. So 7.2 by 7.2. Now we're going to take a piece of this. That's going to be 6.8 by 6.8. And a piece of acetate. So the acetate needs to be exactly the same size, 6.8. Oh, bless you, Anita. It's boxes are one of those things. Once you know how to make them, they're not too bad, but it is daunting doing it off the cuff, let's say. So let's stick our acetate down again. We need to give that a little bit of time to dry. So just some small dobs of glue. Different shape boxes obviously are more difficult if you're making things to fit, but just a standard little gift box, not too difficult. Once you've made hundreds of them, that is, which I used to do for the craft fairs. I used to make hundreds of these. With 4 little tea lights in, something like that, some chocolates. Although I keep buying chocolates to make like gift boxes and packaging for Christmas, but I keep eating all the chocolates. It's terrible. That's the most recent box of things that I bought to do something with, and I've just sat here and munched them all. Right, so a little bit of Tombow glue on the back of that acetate there. And then pop that down there to dry. So just while that dries, before I stick that down, what I'm going to do is take another piece of Whisper White card, and I'm going to stamp my image twice again. So it's this one that we need. Let's clean that off. So nobody's replied. I don't know if you're all busy doing other things and watching. Does anybody know what the weather is doing this weekend? It's raining here at the moment. Am I going to have a weekend of crafting, or am I going to have a weekend of being out in the sunshine? That's what I'd like to know. So I'm going to go... Oh, I've only got one flower on this one. So what colour do I want to go? Do I want to go... I'm going to go with Pool Party and Coastal Cabana. If it's big enough, I might get two on, but I don't think it's going to be big enough. So I'm going to stamp in my pool party. And this is where we again take our Coastal Cabana Stampin' Right marker. Just so that's a little bit drier. Oh, you don't know what the weather's doing? Ah. I shall have a look in a bit. And then pop some streaks. I don't know how you'd explain this. I'm literally just taking the pen, flicking from the base upwards, and then when that goes on, it's not so evident with the Coastal Cabana, but you can see it there. It just gives you that bit of shading, really. So that can go through the die cut machine. Looks cloudy, yeah, it's literally raining here again. So put this through the machine. Number one. And number two. And then we just need to do our little trick by cutting these flower heads off. Feels like I'm butchering a plant really, but I think it's the most effective way of doing it. And then this bottom one here. I do some baking this weekend. I am not a good baker, for anybody who's not sure. Russ never eats my baking. He says it's just because he's being good, but if I made chocolate brownies, he might eat them. So let's pop that on there, like that. And then this one. On like that. So stick this down now onto the Whisper White. Look at that gorgeous colour on the back there. Again, I may put that up. I may raise that up. I do feel like it needs something else. I wonder whether it would take the big flower as well. Could do the big flower in petal pink. Well, you just don't know if you don't try. So let's grab a little piece of scrap Whisper White. As you saw my scrap post on Facebook the other day, this is where I keep my scraps, in one of these boxes, and I did have a sort out, and I have found a new home, which is good for all of these strips. I mean, that's the biggest thing I end up with. It's just a mountain of strips. That's thick. So see, I was playing with different colours the other day. So let's put that to one side. And we shall take our big stamp, and we're going to stamp that in petal pink. And then we're going to need to grab the ink pad for the Calypso Coral. And then stamp the smaller stamp. Look, I've put it away. How good is that? Right, there it is. Grab the smallest stamp there. And then line that up. It's really quite dark actually. I wonder what that looks like. Yeah, let's go second generation. So stamp that off. And then stamp that on there. Don't want it too in your face. And then grab the stem. We'll do that in Pear Pizzazz. So, who's been watching I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of There then? Don't tell me what happened if you've been watching. I need to catch up from last night, but actually I've done quite well this week. Ross has been playing computer games in the evening, so I've been watching it, which is unusual when I'm on days. I normally watch it when I'm on nights during the day, when I'm off shift. I normally play catch up. It's a little bit different with them being in the castle this year. I hope I don't need any more of those. I've just thrown the die away. Come here. But it's still a lot of fun to watch. Oh, you're going a bit crooked. Just put it back. Right. So this is the card that we made. See how much darker that would actually have looked really nice had I done that in the... So it works, I think. Would have looked really... Oh, it's your worst nightmare. It would have looked really nice had I used a pen to keep it in. I may just do that again because that looks a little bit too harsh compared to everything else that I've got. So I'm being picky, but I'm just going to show you. That's the Calypso Coral ink. And then let's just use this little piece here. We need the big stamp again in Petal Pink. Just show you the difference, really. I really like it. It's my guilty pleasure. I'm a Celebrity. Yeah, I am a fan of it. And then, is that all because of all the bugs, Anne-Marie? Do you not like them? I don't like them either, but it's not me dealing with them, luckily. Now what I'm going to do is just, rather than stamp that using the stamp pad, I'm going to take the pen. Now you've got two ways of doing this. You could have taken the original stamp, okay, and we could have done the flicking like we did before with the smaller one, but we don't need to. We can use this same stamp, the external one, and we can just colour over it with our pen and you will get a completely different effect. I always try with the pens and follow the contour of the item. So here we're doing a flower. So go from the middle outwards and then turn that over and line that up if we can. So can you see the difference there? I'm being picky really, but it's much softer already, and that hasn't even dried yet. It's not as bright as this one, and that is generally what you get from the pens. You generally get a more muted, almost like a watercolour effect, which is fabulous sometimes if that's what you're going for. People start out quite often, actually you don't really need the stamp pads. You could just get a pack of the pens because they're water based and use those on your stamps. You can use them on the photopolymer and the red rubber. It's much more delicate, isn't it? I'm glad you can see that. So that can go on there, and that will tie in with the card better, otherwise it would just look a little bit out of place. That's going to go on there. I'm not going to put the band with the ribbon across. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually put that around the outside here. That's how I'm going to tie that in. But what I am going to do is take some more of this gold. I'm going to take some more of this gold stuff. There's the leaf I was after. I knew it was in there somewhere. And don't be scared to chop these up, trim them down. So I'm going to take this one, but I only want half of it. So I'm just going to chop that in half. The whole point of these is that they are yours to alter. I was going to say butcher, but alter might be the best word, as you see fit. So it's entirely up to you. Right, I'm going to pop this on dimensionals and get that stuck down, I think. Put 4 in the corners and then see where we go from there. 4 in the middle, I think, as well. Just such a gorgeous suite of products to work with. So let's stick that in the middle. As in the middle as I can get anyway. I'm really not very good at lining things up square. I tend to use my little ruler if in doubt. Don't know where he's gone. There he is. So that's 1.3, 1.3ish, 1.4. We're not looking too bad. Oh, that's, yeah, so it does need to come back this way a little bit. From a distance is always much easier. Right, stick that down, go for it. And then we'll pop on our Pear Pizzazz stem. Again, just thinking about where you want your flower head to be. As it will take a minute to dry. See how you can use the back of your card? I don't recommend it if the back of your card is going to be white all the time because it the images can show through, but if you're going to stamp over it, it's no problem at all. And then that one's going to come off like this. I have that like that, and then this one like that. Just adds when you look at it from a different angle, it just adds a bit of bling, which is quite nice. So I'm actually going to go for this one down first. Yeah, it adds a little bit of shine. I know the acetate gives it that as well, but this just ties it all in together. Very fine amount of Tombow glue there. And then that one can go on the top. You're very quiet today. Are you busy concentrating, watching, having a cup of tea, doing the ironing? Or am I on in the background? I won't be offended by that. I have other people on in the background too. Oh, that's not stuck down. Do you need to hold that there just for a second while I put the lid back on this, I think. Now I'm going to use some more of these gems. I love these. I do love these champagne basic rhinestones because, and I must admit, I nearly ordered some more yesterday and I didn't, so I might be getting some more of these in December. I love the amount of small ones you get. Quite often with the gems you get too many big ones, but this one you get so many of these little small ones, which are just perfect to go around here. Oh, you're chilling out drinking coffee. Bless you. Working while watching. Yes, you are working while watching. You need to concentrate on work too. Oh, you like it, that's Sue. Thank you so much. And Anita says perfect. Bless you. Really pleased with that actually. So I'm going to take my gold thread again and just tie another little bow. Oh, bless you, Sue. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. Aren't you based... Where are you based, Sue? Aren't you abroad? I do get confused with people. I've got a feeling you are down under. Am I right? If so, isn't it your summer? I won't say too much. Of course I am. Is Jill always drinking coffee? Is that what Jill's renowned for? So let's just trim the edge of that ever so slightly. I thought you were in Australia. Wow, do you know what? I am chuffed to bits. I've gone global. Thank you, Sue. Well, welcome. What time is it where you are then? Is it your evening time? So let's pop that on somewhere about there. And then we can trim those down a little bit further once they're on the project. So that is basically that. That's our little box. Now I just need to ask myself the question, do I think it needs the gold trim around the edge? You guys can tell me as well. 10:30 p.m. Wowzers. Too hot. Yeah, I have been to Australia, but it wasn't too hot. What do we think? Trim or no trim? You guys let me know. Trim or no trim? Yes, to trim. There we go. Jill's made my decision for me. Thank you, Jill. I might do one of these one day. I've seen other people do them. Oh, New South Wales. I don't really know where that is actually, Sue. East, south, west. You've got north, south and west in there. You could be anywhere. Anywhere in there. So what I tend to do when I'm doing my trim, two things. One of two things. Either there's going to be a join in the ribbon. Okay, you can't get away from that fact. Either put the join at the front and put a bow on it, or put the join at the back and just accept that that's what it is. I don't want a bow on this one, so I am going to put the join at the back. And I start by taking my red tape and putting it in the middle. That's why I just paused there, because I hadn't put it quite in the middle. And then just I run that all the way around. All the way down here. Now, oh, Rockhampton in Queensland. Well, Anita is over here in sunny, or not so sunny, England. So I'm just going to pop that down there. I just about got through. Just running out of my red tape there, so that's perfect timing. Have you ever been out to Australia then, Anita, to visit family? So I'm just going to take my Dicky Pick tool. Actually, it might be easier with my fingernails. Come on. There it is. Now, be careful. What I normally do is take this all off and then put this straight down on the grid paper. But you've got, oh, from Kent. I love Kent. Absolutely love it. Have you been here then, Sue? See how well travelled we are. Oh, yeah, we want to go to Kent next year on holiday. So I'm trimming this to very start with to get as neat a line as I possibly can. And then take my box and again, make it as neat as you possibly can. Just lining that up. There. And then just lay that and wrap it all the way around where you've put your red tape. Oh, you've never left Australia. Oh, bless you. To be fair though, I mean, Australia's massive, isn't it? So you can get some really, really different cultures, I imagine, and weathers even, just within Australia. So maybe it's not like us in that sense, where if we want anything different, we do have to kind of leave England and then just tie that up. So you're going to get a join, but it's, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, Anne-Marie, you're from Kent, aren't you? Or your family, yeah, you are from, I would say you are from Kent. Well, my lovelies, that really is about it. Well, that was an impromptu box, wasn't it? I wasn't expecting to do one of those today. Let me just turn this over. But I'm really chuffed with it and I hope you like it. That's our box and that's our matching card. Perfect sentiment for the moment because there are a lot of people that I am missing. Sadly, you are all included in that. I can't wait until hopefully next year we will be able to get back together in person again. Oh, you like that? Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me. It really means the world when I pop on and see people on here. It makes it all worthwhile doing. It really does. So there's our little box. There's our matching card. Those are products from the new and upcoming January to June mini catalogue. I haven't used anything from the Celebration brochure, but please don't forget Celebration is coming up soon too. From 5th of January to 28th of February, as you can see there. For every £45 spend, you will get free products. So that's what Celebration is. But if you would like these catalogues, I'll be ordering my catalogues in December. 1st of December, I think we can. So I'll be sending those out to you soon after. If you'd like one, please do get in touch with me. I'd love to send one out to you. But for now, we've got Christmas coming, so I must go back to Christmas at some point. I haven't given up on Christmas. I'm just taking a little break, let's say, to play. Oh, I'm glad you like them, Anita, and I'm glad you can join too, Katie. Friday is a good day. Friday works well. So I'll be back next Friday. I'll push out the details for the wreath making class soon if anybody would like to join in with making a wreath. But for those interested in as well, the blends class coming up next year, I'll push out the details for that too as well. The course that I'll be doing in colouring. I have decided to offer that external. I had a lady from America ask if she could join in. So to anybody who is based outside of the UK, I will be doing a course in how to use our stamping blends, and that will be £60 British for the 4 classes, PDF instructions, and a few other tutorial and tips guides and things like that you'll get as part of the course. But if you're in the UK, then it will be the £160 and you get so much product for that. So I know, free stuff, everybody loves Celebration. Right, my lovelies, honestly, I think that's it. I don't think I've got any more news or anything for you. I'm going to try and rest my weary head, I think. I've still got my headache. I might have to go and take some headache tablets. Finish watching I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here from the Welsh Castle this year. But other than that, take care. I will see you all again next week, unless I pop on during the week. I may surprise you, but I may not. So don't get too excited. Look after yourselves, take care, stay safe, that's the biggest thing, and I will be back with you all again very soon. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure. See you later, ladies. Bye-bye.